Good morning and happy Monday. So glad that you're able to join us today. It is wonderful to be with you as always on our Monday live streams. Yay! Of course, it could be another day wherever you are in the world. Not sure about time differences, but maybe you're already into Tuesday. So I just wanted to start by saying hi to everybody. Hi, Penny. It's so good to see you. And Teresa and Angela. Gosh, lovely to see you, my dear. And I believe Cindy is here with us as well. If you put things in the chat before I start the live stream, I'm not sure if that shows up in the feed. So, hey, Brandy. Hello, Ravenheart. Good to see you here, my dear. Carol and Barbara. Yay. Look at that. Good afternoon. Time is just one of those things that kind of is a mind bender for me, for sure. Good afternoon, Barbara. All right, so I just wanted to remind everybody that at the end of this month, the 29th and 30th, I'm going to be speaking at I know it's just going to be amazing, the Daughters of Heaven Conference in Sedona, Arizona. You can attend in person or online. For those of you that feel called to attend the conference, I'm going to encourage you to buy Michael Mardot's book, The Daughters of Heaven, because it really, it gives such a great insight and it has such depth into what is a daughter of heaven, how it defies sex and gender and crosses all kinds of racial divides and brings people together in such a beautiful way. And if you are called to attend this conference, maybe you are a daughter of heaven, whether you're a man or a woman, no matter how you identify as far as gender goes. And maybe you know someone who is a daughter of heaven. Maybe you feel called to support the Daughters of Heaven. Whatever that may be, I definitely encourage you to get the book. It's on Amazon, easy to get. And whether you attend the conference or not, the book might very well help you to understand yourself just a little bit better. And I can only speak for myself, but I know that can be a very powerful thing. Some people don't like labels at all. And of course, that is completely understandable. But sometimes, and I just have to say this is true for me, sometimes putting a name to something or identifying it in a way really helps my mind. And when it helps my mind, it frees up sometimes emotional clutter that I didn't even really know I had. It helps me expand spiritually. It's almost like sometimes I've gotten a few labels over the years, and it's just a huge relief. It helps me put down a burden I didn't even really understand that I was carrying, that not having that label created for me, this burden of discord or doubt or just all that stuff that can just take up too much space inside. And to just be able to let that go or set it down and move on, it's such a great feeling. So I'm not really for or against labels. I lean more towards Mother's teachings of, I try to take things one thing at a time, one day at a time, moment to moment. And what doesn't resonate, I try to let it go. What does resonate, I try to explore it and discover why it resonates for me and what it might hold for me. So yeah, this is one of those labels that just really resonates with me and has given me a very unexpected freedom that I was not looking for, that I didn't really know I was burdened with before the label came in. And then all of a sudden I was like, wow, I feel like 10 pounds lighter. I feel freer. I feel like I can let go of just old doubt that I didn't know that I was hanging on to, really. So sometimes these things are gifts. Um, Sometimes they make more clutter and trip us up, but yeah, so just moment to moment. That's my unsolicited advice for today. All right, everybody. Pamela, good to see you, my dear. And Cher, as always, Cindy, my love, good to see you all. Let's dive in. Hmm. Hello, beloved ones. It is wonderful to be here with you in this way today, right here and now. I thank you as always for joining me, for taking time out of your life to spend with me. Today I want to talk about one of 4 elements that your shadow uses to create problems for you. The 4 elements are judgment, expectations, assumptions, and opinions. And over the next 4 live videos, live streams that then become videos, I'm going to discuss each one. And today I'm going to start with judgment. So judgment is the unhealthy version of discernment. So, as you all know, if you've been with me for a little while, I do put importance on language and words, but I put more emphasis, more focus on the intention or motivation behind the words you're choosing. So yes, certain words have energy, but it's not the word that has the energy. It's the intention, or it's your energy that you infuse in your words, right? So I could create a sentence in multiple different languages and ask you to speak it with different intentions, and the feeling when you're listening to the words, they will feel different to you. So when I use the word judgment, the word judgment in and of itself is not a bad word. There really are no bad words, even words that you consider curse words. Right? It's interesting that you use the word curse in relation to the word, because you are infusing that word with a curse, right? That curse energy, that you are using that word, the motivation is to create or to speak aloud a curse. It's an energy of anger or frustration, or you can use the same word that is categorized as a curse word, and you can infuse it with humor or hilarity, right? Silliness. And it feels very different. When you infuse a word as a curse word, it has a kind of jarring violence to it, right? And that is felt. So I want to clear that up in this first video because it's important. Your words carry weight, they carry depth, they have intention, there is motivation behind your words. And all of these things are very important because all that is part of communication, right? The motivation of words is to communicate. It is to connect you. It is to express yourself. It is to alert others as to what you are expressing, what you want to express, what you need to express. It is only one form of self-expression, but it's a very common and very powerful one, because your vocal cords allow you to take an idea and manifest it into the physical as sound. Or you can use your hands in sign language to take an idea, an impulse, a desire to communicate, and bring it into the physical form using your hands to communicate. You can use your whole body to communicate, body language, right? So all of that, whether it's language, whether it's physical, whether it is emotional language, it is all a way to connect, to commune, right? Commune being the root of communication. These things are given to you as human beings to create that connection that you need in order to both survive and thrive. That scale is different for everyone, right? But everyone has the potential to explore that scale of survival all the way to thriving. So the word judgment is neither positive or negative, good or bad, but I'm using it in this context to express an idea, a way of perceiving your own intentions and motivations to create a deeper understanding of your behaviors and possibly the consequences of those behaviors that make your life more difficult than maybe it needs to be. So when I speak of judgment here, I am talking about that expression of self, that experience of self within your own mind, within your own heart, within your own body, that is unhealthy, that comes from fear. And I'm going to use the word discernment as that expression of light, that expression of love, that expression of fulfilling one's needs for the purposes of this experience here and now. In general, judgment is utilized very intentionally, whether it's conscious or unconscious, it's still very intentional. And it is utilized in a way to create separation. Us versus them. Me versus you. Right? It's designed to pull you back, to take you out of connection, to remove you or cut you off from communion with others. And that is always going to be a defense mechanism, a protective coping mechanism. Whether it is conscious or unconscious, it doesn't matter. It is still there for you in order to feel safe. So when you render a judgment, you are doing so because you feel threatened, you feel fearful, you feel that you need some kind of protection that distance and separation, withdrawing, is going to provide for you. And I just want to say to you, beloved ones, that it's all right. That while your judgments may come from your shadow, from your fear, from that old version of protection and the old version of safety, they are understandable. And those people in this world that have a history of trauma, who are living trauma, who are living in very painful situations and circumstances tend to utilize judgment as a survival mechanism. And that is something that needs compassion. It can be easy to experience someone else's judgment, maybe of you or of something else, maybe an idea that you hold very dearly, maybe it's a judgment of someone you love or you like, or whom you honor and respect. Maybe it's a judgment about an ideal that seems very good to you or wonderful, and someone is challenging that with their judgment. And it can feel easy for you to respond in kind, to come right out with your own judgment about their judgment. But when you are on a conscious spiritual path, a path of spiritual awakening and expansion, a path of deepening your ability to love and be loved, judgment does not resonate well with that love. Judgment does not withstand that bright white light of creation. It tends to crumble in the face of love and light, or the presence of love and light. It tends to become exposed for what it is, a fear-based defense. Because if someone is judging you, or someone is judging an ideal that you hold very dearly, your fear response may get triggered that now in this other person's eyes, your value has been diminished because you've left the decision about your value in their hands. You've given them the power to decide your value. So when others judge, it can easily trigger that feeling that you have to defend your own ideas, your own beliefs, in such a way that they change their idea, their judgment. You have to get them back on your side. Or you abandon your beliefs, you abandon what you feel to be loving truth, so that you can go to their side, right? You can leap across the divide that may have been created by that judgment and join them on their side. But here's the problem, beloved ones. Then the divide still remains, but now there is a divide within yourself, right? So part of you has leapt over the divide to agree with them so that you can regain their good opinion of you, their respect, their love, whatever it is you're seeking on the other side of that divide. But you have to leave yourself behind in order to do so. You have to reject the ideas, the beliefs inside of you in order to do that. And sometimes when you are the one doing the judging, creating that divide, the motivation may be that you want to demand that they join you on your side of things, that they abandon themselves, their beliefs, their ideas, in order to please you. That's the way they can show their love of you, and thereby reestablishing your worth and your value, if they will abandon themselves and join you on your side of the divide. Judgment is like a hammer. It smashes things. It is not delicate. It is not subtle. Judgments are, like a judge with his gavel or her gavel, when they smash it down and say, order in the court. You want that order. It's quick. It can be easy. It's done in a split second. And yet the wreckage that it creates can last for generations. Judgments appeal to the imbalanced ego. They appeal to the part of the mind that doesn't really want to look too closely at things, doesn't want to ask questions, doesn't want to bother becoming curious. It just wants an answer, quick and easy, without exploration, without intimacy, without communion. Judgments are generally, not always, but generally a reaction. They are a reaction when an individual feels threatened. Whether real or perceived, it doesn't matter. And that judgment creates an instant divide. And when you are employing judgment with the divine, it divides you from spirit, from God, from me. If I have not done what you wanted in the time you wanted it and the way that you wanted it, that can be a judgment. Mother is making this hard for me, or mother's not showing up for me, or mother's not doing it this way or that way. And that judgment can create that divide, whether again you are experiencing that judgment subconsciously or consciously. It is a deliberate form of protection. Well, if mother isn't giving me what I want when I want it, in the way that I want it, with the person or people that I want it with, then this whole thing is wrong. And I need to separate from mother. I need to protect myself from mother. Right? Or God, or Yeshua, or the divine. And judgment carries a heavy weight because you find yourself isolated. you find yourself across the divide from one person or a community of people or the whole spirit realm or the divine presence. But mostly, beloved ones, you have separated yourself from yourself, whether you've leapt across that divide to get on board with another person's judgment, or you've separated yourself behind your own walls, your own separation, your own divide. You have abandoned that part of yourself that needs communion, that needs intimate connection in order to thrive. So what you may find happening is that you're on this one side of the divide and now you're just surviving. And it's not black or white. Maybe you've just withdrawn from this one person and you still have your intimate connections with the divine, with your friends, your family. But maybe this person is a significant person. And the loss of connection, of communion, can feel very big. Like all of a sudden there's a hole in your life. There's an absence. You can feel a loss. And when you practice judgment too often, the effect can be cumulative. The withdrawal of love, the withdrawal of communion, connection, attention becomes habitual, a habitual way of coping with someone else's judgment or your own judgment. So what I'm encouraging you to do today, beloved ones, is to just notice what happens when you find yourself judging another person, either positively or negatively, doesn't matter. You can judge someone to be positive, but if it's a fear-based judgment, not a discernment, but a fear-based judgment, and you've judged them in a seemingly positive way, you may also be creating a divide between them and you. You may be putting them on a pedestal. And now all of a sudden they have become superior and you are inferior. Or if you are judging someone typically in a negative fashion, now you are superior and they are inferior. Either way, you are creating divides. Regardless of whether on the outside the judgment looks positive or negative, it comes from that fear within you. Whether the judgment originated in you or it's a response to someone else's judgment or a group of people's judgment. You can withdraw from a big swath of the population through your judgment, or maybe their perceived judgment of you, even though you've never met any of these people in person. Don't be a victim to judgment, yours or other people's. They might affect you. They might trigger a fear response. But what you do in response to that fear is what's really important. Do you express the judgment in response to someone else's judgment? Or do you own the judgment that has come up inside of you? Breathe through it, sit with it, pause. Maybe you need to write about it. Maybe you need to talk it over with someone else, not to gossip, but to say, wow, I had this big fear response and it came out as a judgment. I just need to talk it through because it's my issue, right? You surrender that judgment to me, to God, to Spirit. Please, Mother, lift this judgment from my mind and my heart. Let me surrender the separation that I have created through my own judgment. Let me come back to communion, to peace, to serenity. I choose to let it go in this moment because I know it comes from fear and not love. Today, I choose love over fear. Today, I choose faith over fear. So be it. And then, if you need to express something to that person, to find your curiosity, to find common ground again, to find that connecting point, then you take that action. Don't wait for other people to take the action. You take the action. You bring the love. And if people are unresponsive to that love, then have compassion for them and express that you are waiting to love, you are holding love when they're ready. And if they are never ready, then you let them go. The less time you choose in separation, the happier your life is going to be. You cannot ensure the happiness of someone else. You cannot demand their happiness. You cannot demand that they be in charge of your happiness. But you can embrace your own reactions, your own feelings. You can bring curiosity to your own experience. You can take action for yourself. And in so doing, you free yourself from the burden of judgment. You step into that thriving again, that flow. And the best part, you create clarity so that healthy, loving discernment can fill the place that judgment once held. And that discernment is going to light your path, to inform you with whom it is best to spend your time. how it is best to give of your energy, and where it is best to receive love as you give love. So for now, let yourself be aware of your judgments and your response to other people's judgment. Not from so much the mind or what you think about it, although that's important, but more how it feels within you. And begin discovering which actions you need to take in order to shift that judgment, to shift you out of the energy of judgment and into the flow of loving discernment. I suggest starting with the pause, always pausing before you verbally respond, physically respond. Sometimes you don't want to control your emotions in that way. But pause, give yourself space before you respond. Pray, write about it, let it go. If you need to talk about it with someone else, not to gossip, not to point fingers, not to complain, but to really process what that is for you, what happens for you when judgment surges to the forefront. And you practice letting it go. And then be of service. Take that next step in love. Maybe you don't feel ready to be of service to the person where you had the judgment reaction with. So be it. Do service with someone else. Step out of your head and into a focus of service with joy. And when you're ready, cross that divide with love. Don't make people earn your love. And don't feel you need to earn the love of others. Just give it freely, and it will come back to you 1,000-fold, beloved ones, 1,000-fold. Love because it is joyful to do so, not because you're trying to earn something. And as always, when you are embracing what I am offering, when you are exploring it within yourself and within your life, be kind to yourselves, beloved ones. Your expansion into light is a process. And it is one that is best done in the here and now. I love you. Always, always. And let's do this together. Namaste. Mm. Mm. Whoa, that was just what I needed to hear today. Mm. You are welcome, the unmanifest. Yes, beautiful. Well put. Well put. I'm so glad the timing is good for you, Brandy. That is awesome. Oh, great. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, then I'm glad we all got to attend today's live stream that was apparently dedicated to Brandy. um, yeah, I hear you, Ravenheart, for sure. You are welcome, Angela. Um, Julietta, love to have you here. Wonderful to see you. You are so welcome, Penny. Love to you too. Um, Gosh, yeah, that was ah, boy, such far-reaching um, connotations. I can see how this really affects my life, both overtly and covertly. Uh, and this has been a theme now for a little while for me. I've been exploring my covert judgments. Judgments that I may not have known I was holding on to, but I'm starting to see how they manifest through my actions. And so amazing to be able to discover these things about myself, because what I know about Mother is that I don't have to suffer, with this stuff. It may not be easy to shift, like I may not be willing or capable of doing it quickly or right away, but I do know that over time, uh, there is absolutely an unburdening and a shift if I continue to be willing to own it and to let myself explore the process of change. So really grateful. Oh, I'm so glad, Pamela. That is wonderful to hear. Christina, great to see you and share. Denata, my dear, Denata. You are so welcome, Barbara. And Teresa, you are welcome, my love. The Indigo Doors loved it. Fantastic, Indigo Doors. Great to see you here. And all of you who enjoyed this today, if you could hit that like button, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. It would just be lovely to have you as part of our YouTube family. That would just be great. So much love to all of you, and I will see you here next Monday. Take care and have a fantastic week.